Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Oweleke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. We have today, as usual, Barrister Austin Manta to discuss the current affairs going on in Nigeria at the moment. We shall be talking about several issues, but let's start with El-Rufai. Barrister, once again, thank you once again for joining us on this show.
Thank you very much.
El-Rufai, I read earlier in the week that El-Rufai, I don't know if he has sued the government, the Kaduna State government, or he intends to sue Kaduna State government. When I read this, I said to myself, I don't know what the hell is wrong with this. You cannot eat your cake and have it. I don't know what is wrong with some of these politicians. They always want to eat their cakes and have it as well. Life doesn't go that way. I remember when he was the governor, Kaduna State governor, he flouted and disobeyed all, I wouldn't say all, I don't know, but several court orders. El-Rufai has always been known to disobey court orders. In fact, as a governor, he denigrated and demeaned and disrespected and treated the judges with a lot of he treated them so badly, even including I read about it, I have a report on how even their remuneration, their salaries and other stuff or whatever. El-Rufai never had respect. As a governor, he never respected the judges, never obeyed court orders. Now it is the same court and the same judges he's taking his case to. What do you think about it? Do you expect the courts to anyway, I don't know. Usually in law, you don't expect such they always do things based on objectivity. They don't no sentiments, no personal vindictiveness or vendetta. But Nigeria, I don't know, Nigeria that I know, do you expect the judges to fight back, use this as a weapon to fight him back, but in a very discreet manner?
Okay, thank you very much for that topic. Just like you said, over here in Nigeria, everybody who has heard about El-Rufai's threat to go to court is the same refrain. Everybody says, is it not the man who has serially violated, refused to obey court orders? When has he now come to him to now go to court, the same court that he has said in utmost disdain that he is now running to for his so-called enforcement of his fundamental rights? That is what everybody here is, the first comment that comes out of the mouth of everybody who has said it so far and on social media. He is well known. There is a place opposite my office, you will know, a Doba Hotel.
Yes.
Which the late Sani Abacha bought. He brought bulldozers to demolish it when the matter was in court. The court gave a restraining order against the state government. He doubled down on it, whereas there were about 5 bulldozers. As soon as the court gave a court order, he brought double the number of bulldozers, making about 10, and they proceeded day and night and demolished the entire facility to the ground. Only then did he now acknowledge the court that he has demolished. Now, in the course of the case still pending, the case was still in the High Court, when he went ahead and revoked the certificate of occupancy of Abacha while that case was pending. Now, the court set aside that revocation of the certificate of occupancy. He did not obey it. He carved out the land into several plots and gave out to people who are building as we speak. They are building on the land. I can give you another instance. There's a place here called Bagi Villa that houses about 4,000 plus families. before he came to power, there had been dispute between the Kaduna Polytechnic and the community that was there, and they settled the dispute among themselves, and Kaduna Polytechnic demarcated the land by a wall. As soon as he became governor, he said he did not agree with the settlement. He had tried repeatedly to demolish the place. The court gave several orders to restrain him from demolition. We are talking about 4,000 plus houses, families. It's a whole settlement. He insisted repeatedly, publicly, that he would demolish that place. In the last week of his governorship, when he was about to hand over, that is in the week leading up to May 29th of last year, he directed Kapsuda to demolish the villa, the Baggy villa.
Yeah, I think we'll look at this channel actually covered that demolition. I think we ran a documentary on that.
And the Kapsuda gave him a memo that they needed 28 million naira to fuel their bulldozers. As soon as the memo landed on his table, he approved it immediately. He approved the amount immediately. And that was the last week, a few days, 2 or 3 days for him to hand over power. He was still intent and intriguing to demolish that settlement. He has left the new government with over 500 court cases on every subject, land, about every other thing. He hounded journalists, people who commented on social media. He arranged for them to be arrested and charged in Kaduna State, including Professor Odinkal, who was chairman of the Human Rights Commission. Wow. Every other person, even if you are in Lagos, if you say anything on social media, he will ensure and try to arrange for you to be arrested and brought to Kaduna to be,
are you serious?
Be prosecuted. Yes, to be prosecuted in Kaduna. There is a lady here, a lawyer, whom he repeatedly charged to court for comments on the government. So this is somebody who believes that the court is at his behest, but not against him.
Not against him.
He is ready. It is there for him to use against his perceived enemies, but they don't have a corresponding right to use the court against him. That is his belief. So now everybody is mockingly commenting that is it not the same person who treated the court and the judicial process with utmost levity? Why is he now running to it? But I can answer your question and say the judiciary is not configured in a way that they will collectively come and say, oh, we are going to deal with this man because of the disrespect he has shown in the past. No, the judiciary does not operate in that way. His case will be considered just like any other case on the facts and the law presented before the courts.
Yeah, I understand you as a lawyer, but trust me, we are all human beings, my dear. The truth is, understand that is, but like I said, some of these things, some of these vendettas cannot be done. Like I said, I mentioned discreetly. They are done covertly. They don't. They do it in a very subtle way. You don't know, except the person involved in it we see some kind of fishy stuff going on there or whatever. But I bet you, first the assigning of of such cases, that is where it will even start from, because assigning of such cases, it is the current governor that appointed people the judicial officials that does that or whatever. So definitely, they first of all want to assign it. There's no doubt about it. They want to assign it to a certain judge that probably is a certain judge or one of the judges that El-Rufai has actually demeaning somehow or denigrated in one way or the other or whatever, so that they will probably want to take their own pound of flesh, sort of. So anyway, let me even ask now. You have mentioned some things here that I didn't even know about. How El-Rufai went rampaging and bulldozing. I knew about the demolitions here and there, but harassing people around both in both Kaduna and outside Kaduna, I didn't hear all those ones. So now he has amassed so much court cases that the state government is sponsoring. Obviously, it started with the state resources. Now the state is saddled with this humongous number of court cases. I don't get it. In law, is there nothing that can be done to punish El-Rufai for his recklessness, for his overbearing attitude towards governance or towards leadership or so or whatever? By law, is there no way he can be held accountable for all his recklessness?
Not exactly. It's a difficult thing to try to hold the governor accountable for administrative actions that he took while in office. If there is a criminal aspect to it, of course, he can be held accountable. And the process of holding him accountable, for instance, is what has started, what is now evolving by the House of Assembly first conducting an investigation into some of the actions he took. And in the course of that, some criminal issues are being identified. And that is why you hear, and there's protests, and you hear calls for him to be held accountable, for him to be prosecuted on some of the things that were done. But in terms of litigation that he made as a result of his actions, the litigations will be allowed to go through the normal process. What is now at stake is for the present government to look at the whole cases holistically and decide on what to do. Most of them, for instance, have been settled, like the cases he instigated. He filed criminal charges against Professor Odin Kalu, who was chairman of the Nigerian Human Rights Commission.
Yeah.
Lord Professor, he filed criminal cases against many lawyers in Kaduna State. He filed criminal cases against other people who commented on social media. Some of those cases, the present government has already terminated them. There are criminal cases that Kaduna State filed, so the government has already terminated some of those cases.
Of course, obviously.
A whole bunch of cases pertain to land that he expropriated from people, land that they forcefully collected from people. The government is settling some of those cases as well. But some will naturally have to go through the whole gamut of the judicial process, where there were illegal demolitions of people's houses, some of them because they are claiming huge amounts of money from the state government. The state government is in a quandary. How do you resolve this if we want to settle? The amount being claimed is high. So sometimes they want to pass it over before that court process can finish. Maybe the tenure of this government would have lapsed. So they may just allow it to run its course. After all, it will not affect them. At the end of the day, maybe by the time the case concludes, even if damages are awarded against the state government, the governor would have done his tenure and handed over to somebody. So that is a myriad of issues that have been thrown up. As we speak, I'm aware that some of the land matters have been settled, and some of the criminal cases that they filed against people have been withdrawn. So that process is ongoing.
Wow. Honestly, honestly, it's so sad that we are running a system where public officers or officials in high places cannot be held responsible for their malgovernance. Honestly, it is. I don't get it. This is my problem. This is my problem with democracy again. Because if it were a military era, my God, you behave like that, your general on top, the president or the head of state, finds a way to deal with you, and they will always find a way to deal with you or whatever. Because if you have an evidence, a proof that somebody has done something wrong, you deal with that person. That person should be held accountable and punish that person or whatever. Our court process is so corrupt that you see people, criminals, going scot-free, even though with evidence they still go scot-free. So I don't get it. Honestly, El-Rufai has done so much damage to the state, to the nation, and in general. I remember even as BPE chairman, when he was also the FCT minister or whatever. He has stepped on so many toes. He has destroyed lives. He destroyed lives of people. There are people who committed suicide out of his actions, out of his actions, sort of. I don't get it. He's been doing this, and back Kaduna was the melting point, actually. For how could a governor have done such thing, and at the end of the day, he's just walking free on the streets? It's just so sad.
One of the reasons that is our misunderstanding or miscomprehension of what democracy is about. Coming from a military rule into the civilian administration, a lot of those traits that the military governors and military personnel had came into the politicians. We do not understand that the governor is not a king, but the way the governors operate in practice, the powers and this thing are even more than those of kings.
That is it.
Our own understanding vis-a-vis what the constitution and democracy is supposed to be are poles apart. For instance, the governor, or for that matter, the president, is also merely a complainant to any of the security agencies. If we talk of real democracy, in other words, if the governor perceives that some people have done something wrong, he will report them to the police. And if we have a professional police, they will look at it not because it is the governor that reported. They will look at the complaint in a professional manner. And when they have no evidence against, they will release those people. But the reality in Nigeria is that once the governor will direct, he will not lay complaint to the police. He will direct the commissioner of police to arrest somebody and detain him. And the commissioner will arrest and detain you, and they will tell you it is orders from above. And nothing will be done except and until the governor has allowed the commissioner to release that person. Even if professionally they look at the complaint, they have no facts to continue detaining that person. For the fact that the governor gave that instruction, you will continue to languish in that detention. So our understanding of democracy is quite contrary to the true intent of democracy. Even the president has no right to order for a person to be detained. If we are talking of democracy, he can lay his complaint to a professional police, and they will look at it professionally. Is there evidence to detain this man? Is there evidence to charge him to court? If there's no evidence, they will release him on their own without waiting for instruction from the president to release. But that is not how this thing is configured in Nigeria in practice. If the president, for instance, says the IG should detain you, believe me, they will detain you until they receive contrary instructions from the police.
That's exactly what's happening with Kano now. Kano, this
exactly. Irrespective of whether there are facts that show that you have committed any offense. So the misunderstanding of this our democracy is a carryover from the military administration, where, and by nature, you know, our people by nature are autocratic. They are not democratic. They want to deal with their enemies in the most forceful and arbitrary manner. This is our nature. The democracy and the rule of law that we're supposed to have, that we temper this kind of power, is not being carried out in its proper sense. That is why we have the governors are so powerful. Otherwise, how do you have a single person superintending every kobo that is spent in a state? The governor must approve every single kobo that is spent, every recruitment, every employment of everybody. The governor has a biro that he will sign.
Are you serious?
For everybody to be employed, for every kobo to be spent. So, and they can do as they please with the funds belonging to the state. The House of Assembly is supposed to act as a check and balance, but in practice here, all the House of Assembly are pocketed, are in the hands of the governor. He does as he pleases. So our democracy is a sham democracy in the true sense of the word.
It's so sad. It's so sad. I think what is such directly. I think what you mentioned earlier. I think he just joined us. Shegun Onibio was a victim too, in his victim of his recklessness. Sort of. So I think he was arrested. Shegun was arrested and incarcerated. I think she let him even speak. Shegun, you are welcome. Welcome to the show. I can't hear you in case you are speaking already.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, we've been talking about your man, El-Rufai, Nasir Elrufai.
Okay.
Who, excuse me, as a governor, he did everything to actually either demean or denigrate or disregard or disrespect the judges and the courts or whatever. But here we are today. He wants to eat his cake and have it. He's now going back to the court to seek solution to his problem. What have you got to say about that?
Oh, well, first off, let me apologize. I can't be on video. I seem to have some issues. I explained to you the other time concerning my phone.
Yeah.
But it's okay. At least I can hear you and I can talk back. It is, you see, people don't understand that there's a reason why the world is spherical. There's a reason why the world is in circle. There's a reason why there's an adage that the world, what goes around comes around. Nobody would have thought that the person of Malam Nasir Elrufai would need the courts today to clear himself and, of course, get justice. This is somebody who subverted justice when he was governor. This was somebody who does not respect court injunction. The last time I discussed with a couple of lawyers when I last attended court, we were saying that, look, there is a pile of files of cases waiting for him. This is just one of them. There are so many of them at other courts that are waiting for him. And it's quite unfortunate that the man didn't think that this could come to his turn, where he will be the one that will seek justice through the court that he has disrespected all the years. And I like how it is going. I like the fact that it is the state that is instituting a case against him. And I like the fact that from the news that I got on the ground, forensic research has been done on these matters, and it is found culpable. And like I said in your last edition, I said, I pray that the now governor of Kaduna State would have the heart to follow this through, because it is no longer about being comrades. It is no longer about being friends. It is no longer about being mentors, but it is about the survival of Kaduna State itself. He came out the other time to say that he is unable to pay salaries. Why? Because the state is indebted. Whatever it is that is coming from the federal allocation, almost all of it goes back to servicing the debt. But unfortunately, it was the same person who signed off this debt for him. So it makes it puts a twist into it that makes it very interesting. I'm interested in this matter because I want to see how this matter will be handled in court. I want to see what exactly it is that he would argue for or against. I'm aware that some of the courts, especially the high courts in Kaduna State, don't want even to hear his matter. Once you bring his matter to them in court, they throw it out. And that was one of the reasons why my own case with him since 2018 lingered on until 2022. Why? Because he refused to take the case to the High Court. Immediately he hears that you're going to take the case there so that you could get justice, he brings you back to the magistrate court because he could control them. But of course, you know how it is with the courts and the judges in the high court. They are not the kind of people who would waste your time. If there is no substance in what you have, they throw it out. I pray that justice will be done this time, and justice will be seen to be done. If he's not guilty, yes, of course, we'd expect that he will be freed. But if he's guilty, I would expect that the kind of justice that needs to be done on people like him should be done so that they will set example for others. You cannot frit away money of the state, and you know you need to visit Kaduna State to see what he has done. Took over people's properties, destroyed people's homes, forcefully wanted to evict some people who are retired. There's a place where they call Baggy Villa, where people he drove away from Abuja settled. He went back there trying to drive them out of that place, even when the land belongs to the federal government of Nigeria. You see, it's funny that such a man who the court would give an injunction. Oh, don't arrest this person. Oh, pay this person so and so compensation, and he would refuse. Excuse me, and he will tell you no court can tell him what to do. No judge anywhere can tell him what to do. He's governor, and he has all the powers. It is funny to see that it's the same person that is running to the court for justice. And I pray that justice will be served on the person of Nasir Elrufai. So that at the end of the day, either good or bad, people would learn from him and understand that nobody anywhere is above the law, and nobody else.
Yeah, unfortunately, I doubt the case will go anywhere, because at the end of the day, politics will come into it. It will turn into two-way streets, where they will now give each other and give each other something. They give and take with each other. It's sort of, because they're only going to use that against him as a politician in the future. That is just honestly, this is not the way. This is not what I really desire. I really crave for El-Rufai. Honestly, I really crave for a situation where El-Rufai will be truly punished indeed. Real punishment. Yes, honestly.
Sorry to cut in here. You see, justice is not the way we look at it. Justice is not served on the platter of emotions. As much as people would want him punished, it will depend, of course, on the allegations laid and the evidences presented before the court. Even if the judge does not like his face, if the evidences are there and they are not properly presented, he may walk free. But from what I have gathered and from what I have seen so far, I think it is going to be very difficult for him to walk away from this. I'm not going to expose too much here, but I want us to follow the proceedings. I think he heard something himself. That was one of the reasons why he quickly ran to court, that he wants justice and he wants his name cleared. There is something coming on him, and it's going to be very heavy. Just like you, I had my doubts. But again, you see the way justice works. And that's one of the reasons why they will tell you it's blind. The only thing it does is hear.
Yeah, sorry. Honestly, sorry to cut you short. Now, the truth is, for someone like El-Rufai, the issue of evidence, trust me, evidence is there in quantum. There will be a lot of, you know why? El-Rufai is someone who does things, who did things with impunity. Even as BPE, DG, FCT minister, Kaduna State governor, whatever, El-Rufai did so many things with impunity. El-Rufai has that penchant for authority and dictatorship. That he felt as a leader, he always feels that is his persona. That is just who he is. That it is embedded in his DNA. He just feels he's above the law, and because of that, someone like him will not want to cover his tracks. He will want to do it because he was basically doing things, just carrying out activities in a very, very reckless manner, because he just felt that he can go away with it, just as he went away. he went away with other things he did as a leader in DPE and the FCT.
As FCT, yes. Sorry, if you follow the story, how he ended with the ministership thing, if you notice, he was banned, and the paper released on him clearly stated that he cannot even contest to be councillor in Kaduna State. That he cannot contest, he cannot hold any public office. If you remember, there was a document released on that. I think it's available. I'm going to search for it. And I think it was much later when Yaradua died and he ran away. Before Yaradua died, he ran away from Nigeria. He went through Ghana and went to the US, from what I gathered. Then much later, the then president after Yaradua was Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan, I was told credibly that he granted him presidential pardon. And you see, these are part of the things that we're talking about. For somebody who is lived and has been reckless with his work as minister, I don't think we should have a way of giving such a person pardon. Look at the kind of damage he did after then. In 8 years in Kaduna State, look at the damage that he did. But of course, yeah, it is what it is, because like the barrister said, we are not practicing democracy in Nigeria. We are too soft on people who commit crime. And the more crime they commit, the more money they make, the more name they make for themselves, the more powerful they become, and the more it is that they subvert justice. In a situation where you can go to the court and get an injunction to counter what another court has said, you see, it's unbecoming of a nation and unbecoming of us as a people. The character, the integrity is no longer there. We have lost it. And it is quite unfortunate.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I think that brings us to the end of this topic. Yeah, okay. Let's move to the next topic.